The MOVE organization started in the early 1970s. It was started by a black man called John Africa. And John Africa basically had one single belief, that is, in life, the priority of life, that there is nothing else more important than life. And John Africa started talking to people about that belief. And the first MOVE members were people who heard John Africa's teaching and became serious about it and wanted more. And they became the first MOVE members. And the first demonstrations of MOVE was at the zoo, the circus, at unsafe boarding homes for the elderly. It was at Dow Chemical and DuPont Chemical. It was at the reservoir in Philadelphia protesting the poisoning of the water, and at the school board, protesting the misdirection of the youth. And these were the things that MOVE was doing, and just simply putting out information about these things, the exploitation of life, the miseducation, of people, and the importance of life and the importance of the principle of freedom. And apparently the government was very threatened by such things. And initially the government approached MOVE people, government officials, and they offered MOVE people money in the form of funding and offices and such things. And we knew exactly what that was. They were trying to buy MOVE off, co-opt us, control MOVE. And we made it clear that we didn't want anything that they were offering. They don't have anything to offer us. And when officials realized that they couldn't co-opt MOVE or buy MOVE off, that's when the brutality and intimidation started. If the soft soap wasn't going to work, well, then they would come with the iron fist of, brutality and intimidation. And that is when MOVE people would, set up a peaceful demonstration at some institution of this system. And the cops would come out and they would tell us that we had to pack up, go home, that we could not demonstrate. And MOVE would confront them about it, ask them what they were talking about. Isn't this America, where you tell the world that all these freedoms exist here? Freedom of speech, freedom to protest, freedom of religion, freedom of association, freedom of the press, all these freedoms. What does the Constitution say except MOVE? And of course the cops didn't want to hear it. And that's when they would start beating MOVE people, attacking MOVE people, beat MOVE men into concussions and broken limbs, beat MOVE women, beat, stomp, kick pregnant MOVE women into miscarriage, attack our children. And it was at this point that MOVE made our position clear. We made it clear that we are uncompromisingly opposed to violence, that we do not believe in violence at all. But we are John Africa taught, and we are neither stupid nor confused. And we understand clearly the difference between violence and self-defense. You are not violent when you defend yourself, but you are violent if you are attacked and you refuse to defend yourself, because then you are perpetuating violence. You are endorsing it. You are masochistic and ultimately suicidal. And those are the foremost forms of violence. And MOVE is neither masochistic nor suicidal. We understand clearly that there is not one species of life in existence that does not defend itself however it can, by whatever means it can. That is an instinct coordinated in every living being by the coordinator of life, the God of life, the mother of life. And MOVE moves in harmony with the instinct of life, the coordination of life. And nobody can prove us wrong. So we made our position clear, and that too was threatening by a system that has conned people into believing that under no circumstances, no matter what happens, do people have the right to defend themselves against government. That no matter what government does, we have to just suck it up, just have to take it, you know. And MOVE is not of that belief, and we make it clear. So, you know, they felt threatened by us. And from that point on, you know, the government was determined to exterminate MOVE, to get rid of MOVE. And that's when things really escalated in 1977, when MOVE made our position clear on May 20th of 1977. The government was aghast, and they surrounded MOVE headquarters with cops, you know, 24/7 to watch MOVE, and issued illegal warrants against MOVE. But nothing happened in terms of an attack until August 8th of 1978. Of course, Frank Rizzo, who was then mayor, erected a starvation blockade around MOVE, turned off our water, would not allow any food or anything, you know, into MOVE headquarters. And that worked against him too. I mean, you know, he wasn't successful in starving MOVE out, and eventually had to capitulate, had to give ground. And our prisoners, MOVE political prisoners at the time, 5 of my sisters and brothers, were released from prison, brought right to MOVE headquarters. And that really incensed Rizzo, who stated that he didn't negotiate with terrorists, but he was forced through the power of the people to release MOVE prisoners. And he was so mad about it that it led to the August 8th police attack on MOVE. And that's where a police officer was killed. MOVE was accused of killing the police officer, despite clear evidence that it was physically impossible for any MOVE person to have killed James Ramp. That didn't matter. The cops had failed to kill MOVE, and so the next best thing to them was to put MOVE in prison for as long as possible. And Officer James Ramp was simply a vehicle for doing that. And so MOVE people were all arrested, tried, even though within hours after arresting my family, the city of Philadelphia sent a demolition team out and completely demolished MOVE headquarters, which was a crime because the house was vital evidence in a murder trial, the murder of a cop, a Philadelphia police officer, and the house was the scene of the crime. They accused my family of shooting James Ramp to death from the house. So they destroyed the scene of the crime. Destroying evidence is a crime. But, of course, nobody said anything. And this was despite the fact that a court order from Judge Calvin Wilson was in existence forbidding anything being done with that house until he had a hearing. This was before it became a murder scene. So you have a court order and you have it now being a murder scene, yet they still just arrogantly demolished it, and my family still went on trial and were all 9 convicted of murder, all 9 sentenced to 30 to 100 years. And then a day or so after sentencing my family to prison, Judge Malmit, the trial judge, because this was not a jury trial, this was what they call a bench trial, where the judge makes the decision. Judge Malmit went on a radio talk show in Philadelphia, and Mumia Abu-Jamal heard him and called in and asked him one simple question: who killed Officer James Ramp? And Judge Malmit responded with, I haven't the faintest idea who killed Ramp. But he had just convicted and sentenced 9 of my family members to prison.